It did start it automatically.
That's odd. It did for me.
It usually does, but I wasn't the first one in this time either, so.
True.
Sorry, Art.
Now we can't hear.
Now
you.
we can't hear
Alright,
you.
That's what do everyone. I can hear you now. Now I rebooted. Okay. Did you hear me? Does that make sense? No. Does that make sense? No. Let's make it unanimous. Doesn't make sense.
But now we can't hear Art.
Okay. It's time for you to reboot then.
Off.
You're turned off. Well, don't reboot then.
What do you mean you can't hear you?
Do what?
What?
He's in his own little
I
cocoon.
can't hear you. But he's not running, so maybe that's the reason.
Today is just confusing.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
We hear you.
Okay,
Oh, and you can hear us?
my USB microphone is doing the audio
Okay.
in, and my plug-in standard earphones are doing my audio. So you tell me.
We need some more audio. We need some more juice on your microphone. You're kind of low.
We can hear you, but you're weak.
Very weak.
Well, that's because the microphone is a long way from my mouth, I guess.
That's better.
Actually,
Yeah.
and you're on
Well,
the
that
other
makes
side of
sense.
the mic, so it's noise canceling.
Yeah. That makes sense too.
This is bizarre.
Oh, we thought
Well,
so.
that probably means that you've got a bad set of headphones.
But you have to realize this was a GOAT opportunity from the beginning.
Well, it's interesting because 4 hours ago in a Zoom session, they worked just fine. So I am mystified.
Wait,
I don't know why we do it.
hold down papers.
It is fascinating, but Patty would kill me if I brought something like that home.
That's a processor card out of a Sunfire V990 computer. There were 4 of them. Each card is 24 cores. It had cards for memory and had a lot of memory. Not a huge amount, but a lot.
And
It also had a very expensive hardware random number generator and an encryption card.
a real random number,
Yeah.
not a pseudo random.
Well, it had a pile of diodes around a little cesium tablet.
It weighs about 5 pounds, I guess.
Oh, the whole computer, I think, had a 1/4-inch steel plate base in it. Thing had to weigh over 100 pounds. Luckily, we've got a forklift in there. No, I'm serious.
That IBM that we had, that
Mhm.
thing had to weigh a good 100 pounds.
Yeah.
A good 100 pounds. That thing was awesome though. If RAM would fail, it would shut that RAM down and you could just pull
Keep
it. And
going.
that was one of the most ingenious computers I ever played with. There were little
Yeah.
buttons. There were little buttons that you could hit and tell to shut. You didn't even need to go into like a software thing to do it. You just go shut this one down.
I reseated a blade in that server I was talking about earlier. And when you reseat it, it asks, do you want to reset the master password for that particular blade and set it to DHCP? Like, no, just keep what's on it. Didn't help. It died. Good.
They're running some servers that have been around for a while.
Well, we're pulling them out. They hired me for infrastructure, which is the hardware.
Yeah.
The Linux part of it is I know how to properly shut down the computer. Whatever. Doesn't matter if you're pulling it out.
And they gave you a Windows machine to use, even though you're the Linux guy.
So what I did today,
Just
or
trust
well,
it.
the day before yesterday, I guess, was install the Linux subsystem for Windows and Ubuntu, and I'm installing all of my scripts and stuff. So I use Windows for Outlook and Teams, and I use Ubuntu for everything else.
A month ago, maybe, I had read something about a new version of Ubuntu that was designed to replace Chrome OS.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Nice.
It uses some service called E.
Okay.
And E apparently makes phones with the EOS
Mhm.
that's linked to E. So they provide most of the same services that Google,
Mhm.
but they're much, much, much smaller,
Yeah, that's how you grow.
a lot smaller. And apparently somebody made something called Ubuntu Web and embedded parts of E in it. So you sign up for an E account
Mhm.
and they got rid of most of the things. So you do everything in the web, like more or less like how Chrome OS works.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but it's really not big. I mean, the E service doesn't seem like it's big enough yet to really support.
Gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, but
I would like to have a phone that's disconnected from Google.
yeah,
Oh, and that's the other thing. They're getting me a phone, an iPhone 12.
so you're going to be disconnected from Google, but you're going to be linked to Apple.
Yeah. You don't consider it an upgrade.
I don't see the benefit in that. I don't know, when you say that you're doing something to replace a Chromebook or
Mhm.
Chrome OS, it just makes me think you should be larger than you are.
Well, yeah, but Google started out with one server. You can't start a company at 10,000 employees and 100,000 boxes spread around the world.
I know what you're saying, but you can't compete with Google if you're too tiny either.
Yeah.
So what's that thing you were showing? me?
Oh, OBD2 scanner.
Hey, what?
OBD2.
That's for the car.
For the
Yep.
car.
It's a car diagnostic.
Mhm.
Does this fit all cars?
Everything that has a OBD2, which came in around
96.
96, that late. Okay.
Yeah. It was in the 90s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And I don't know if are they still in there?
Yeah.
And how much did it cost?
$6 or $7.
They're cheap.
Yeah, they're very cheap. And it plugs into an application on your phone called Torque. And Torque,
Is it
you put in
plugs
details.
in via Bluetooth?
Yep.
Okay.
You tell Torque,
You give it basic details about your car and it goes from there.
yeah, it can tell you how many horsepower you have based on your acceleration, because it knows your car weighs 1,200 kilograms, and so it must be have at least 306 horsepower to go as fast as it just did.
Or something like that.
Yeah, or 34 horsepower. It gives you information, well, so I get little dials for RPM, acceleration, the throttle position, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, since
Um,
some of the throttle positions are electronic now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Actually, my car, that crappy little car I've got, is throttle by wire. The only thing I need to do to give it cruise control is hook some switches up to it.
Tell your OBD2 port to leave the throttle on.
And one I think is kind of nice, it has an actual coolant temperature
Oh,
where it tells you the physical temperature of the water.
It was my understanding that when I had mine, they came out with the specs for it like in 94, 93, 90, 94, something like that. Didn't implement it until 96. And then there's a block of data that
All of them are the same on.
that are all the same. And then there's a block where different manufacturers could add stuff for your car. That's why if you tell your app what car you have, it will read additional data or eliminate data that's not available to it.
Right.
So it's a really cool thing, but it's also, the more they add sensors to it, the closer they have come to running out. So OBD2 may not be around for very much longer.
Will be in my cars for quite a while.
Well, mine too, but it's they're quickly running out of bits from that specification because people keep adding more and more sensors.
One of the things I like about it, if your check engine light comes on, it tells you what the fault is. It lets you clear the fault, and it gives you a link to a website that tells you common reasons for the fault for your car, which is awfully handy.
Yeah.
Mine is running a little bit lean, and when I initially checked, I ran into AutoZone and they wanted me to replace the O2 sensors. When I checked it myself with this thing, it said to look for a break in the intake manifold, which I had just replaced my air cleaner housing and flexed everything around, and lo and behold,
There it was.
yeah, there it was.
There it was.
So I now have duct tape wrapped around.
My the app I was using was not Torque, but it was very similar, and it would tell you common reasons why something in your car was failing, or it would let you clear the codes, and if the codes came back, it would say, this is like the second or third time that you've seen this code. There actually is a problem because you're seeing this code multiple times.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool because, sometimes you just get codes that if you clear them, they never come back.
Right. And sometimes you get erroneous codes or meaningless ones.
Yep.
We had a Chrysler Town and Country that had some rod that ran underneath the intake manifold with a motor on it, and it moved for various reasons. We never knew why, but it didn't affect the gas mileage or power or anything. And so we just let it go.
Hi, Vicente.
Hello, people.
Hello.
That was one reason why I got mine, was because I specifically wanted to know the gas,
Mileage.
the mileage for the van, and it did really, really good. Of course, now I've got a different app because it doesn't work in the Crown Vics for some reason.
Yeah.
So I got a different app to do it. But one that actually just reads GPS and asks you how much you filled up and
Mhm.
your mileage, and then it says, yeah, this is what your gas mileage is, which
I,
is pretty close, I think.
for years, I always get the receipt when I get gas. Because one time I got stopped, they said I didn't pay, and I did. Had to go back to court later and show my receipts. So I started always getting a receipt, and I marked down my mileage, and I had how much gas I put in, and I zeroed out my odometer every time I got gas. And I track gas mileage religiously.
Yeah, I know,
You and Barry Kimball.
yeah. Well,
Really?
it's
He's getting 70 miles per gallon.
it's actually a really good way to tell if there's something wrong with your car.
Mhm.
You don't really need something fancy. If your gas mileage starts to go to crap, you know there's something wrong.
Yep.
You may not know what's wrong, but you know there's something wrong.
But Cynthia, they were talking about the OBD2 device that Steve brought in. That's it there. It plugs right into your car.
Neat.
Underneath the dash there.
Yeah. The weirdest thing though, the white Crown Vic, I get 20 almost constantly, 20 miles to the gallon. The black and white will go anywhere from 17 miles to the gallon, clear up to 22 miles to the gallon. And there's no rhyme or reason as to, because I drive the same damn way each time.
Yeah. I had a 68 Chrysler New Yorker 440 in it. And that thing got 8 miles per gallon. At one point I was hauling around a 16-foot canned ham trailer. I got 7 3/4 miles per gallon. That car didn't care.
That's, the white one doesn't seem to, highway miles, city miles, doesn't care. I'm getting 19 to 20 miles a gallon
Mhm.
constant. It's pretty consistent. The black and white, completely different story. And you would think that they would be
Pretty close.
at least consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a year off as far as mileage, as far as model year, but
Can you
think-
correlate it to temperature? If you can, it might be transmission.
that I was actually thinking it may be transmission, because I think the white car has the extra cooler package on it, and the black and white doesn't.
Mhm.
The white car seems like it runs a whole lot cooler. I mean, but without having something that would actually read the temperature, it's hard to say.
I don't know if that thing can catch transmission temperature or not, probably.
I'm almost positive that the black and white was a city car.
Mhm.
It was an Oxford City police car.
Oh, really? So it had a bunch of drunk teenagers. in it.
Yeah, and I'm almost positive that they did not opt for the highway package on it,
Mhm.
where the white car came from Mount Healthy, which is right there along the highway.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive that has the highway package on it. I know for a fact it's got the cooler,
Mhm.
the extra cooler package on it, so it runs cooler. So that I think that's what makes the difference with the mileage.
Yeah.
But it's still weird. It's like these things should be. I mean, it should be a lot.
Same
more-
engine, right?
Same engine.
Hmm.
And it should be a lot more consistent. Like, even if it's less, it should be like 18 constantly or something, instead of one day it's 17, one day it's 22. Just to me, it seems very inconsistent, and it's a little harder to tell that there's something wrong with that car because of how
Mhm.
wide of the gap is on it.
Too much light in here.
The van was the same way as your old car, though. I could haul
Nightlight.
stuff. I could do anything. It did not care what I did to it. It was 19 miles a gallon, no matter what I was doing.
I liked our town and country for the most part. But when it started going weird, it was like haunted. Really bizarre stuff was happening. At one point, there was a loose connection in the dash. And so you'd be driving down the road and the door locks would just start thump, 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 thump. For 4 miles. It gets to be really annoying. I gave that car to somebody and he drove it for another 4 years. I mean, to me, it was like, nah, it's garbage.
It was a loose connection in the dash causing that, right?
It was a bad solder joint on the back of the instrument cluster.
The white car has a bad solder joint on the back of the instrument cluster.
That was a problem they had.
Rebuild the tranny,
Hmm?
rebuild the tranny in the town and country. You had to rebuild a tranny.
I didn't. I got rid of it just before that happened.
Oh, okay.
I could feel it being different when you give it gas and stuff. Like, nope, that's it. I know what transmissions in this thing cost.
I know where the bad solder joint is.
It's easy to fix.
Oh,
It's
it's
29 screws to get to it.
Oh, it's you gotta almost take to get the instrument cluster out on that Crown Vic. You almost have to take the column out to get to it.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's a pain in the.
yeah. Luckily, this one had been my mom's, and it had every feature, including an electric adjustment for the steering wheel, which I never could figure out how to reprogram that damn thing. So every time I'd get in the car, I had to stop it because I was using mom's keys and it would try to stop the steering wheel.
Had I was driving a friend of mine's car, and his did that. I'm like, stop! What are you doing?
Yeah, but it had the big fluffy leather heated seats. And I can't imagine being at the point that I need to have an electric tilt steering wheel. I mean, I think I can always manage to move the steering wheel on my own.
I mean, once I get a steering wheel set where I want it,
Yeah.
I never touch it again.
Mm-mm.
I mean,
It was kind of nice. I can understand it from mom and dad's perspective because my mom is 5'4" and my dad is 6'1"
yeah.
and 380 pounds. So he couldn't get nearly as close to the steering wheel.
Yeah. If Patty was driving my cars, which she refuses to do, but I could see a feature like that being handy. You
Mhm.
hit a button or something. I am Patty.
I don't know where dad's remote went, but it had 2 remotes, and the remote that you used to open it is what shows where the seats and stuff went to, and the mirrors, everything adjusted. It was very cool.
Yeah.
Just kind of silly from my perspective.
The white Crown Vic has adjustable pedals,
Mhm.
electric adjustable pedals.
For the shortcuts.
I don't know why. I mean, seriously, I don't know why they're there, but they are, and they're kind of cool. Except that when the hydraulics or whatever starts to get a little freaky, and you step on the brake, and the brake moves a
Goes
little bit
away.
further, a little bit further away, and I'm like, why did that happen? Oh, hit the button. Okay, it's back.
What year are they, Leroy?
My white car is a 2009 and the black and white is a 2008. The white car has 194,000 miles on it. And the black and white has 85.
No,
We'll
it's a
say,
baby.
we'll say 85. It's less than that, but we'll say 85,000 miles.
Are you sure it hasn't just gone all the way over?
It's in too
Coming
good.
back
It's
to-
in too good a shape to have gone all the way over. I mean, the white car is rough. I mean, it's a rough car. You can tell it's got 200,000 miles on it. The black and white, I actually put, I probably put 7,000 miles on it since I've had it for a year. So it had very little miles on it when I bought it.
I put serious miles on the car. I got that little red one I got at Christmas 2019, just before COVID. And by the time COVID hit, I had put 12,000 miles on it.
Yeah. I want to say that when I bought that one, it had 73,000 on it. And I'm at 85 right now. I've only owned it a year and a half maybe.
Yeah.
Say,
When
Art,
do
you
they
got any
usually
toys?
put those up for auction?
Do what? Do what, Art?
I said, when do they usually put those up for auction? What mileage on the cop cars?
So that's kind of up to debate anymore because departments are actually keeping the Crown Vics longer. The chip shortage and car prices and everything, they like the Crown Vics.
Yeah.
They don't make the Crown Vics anymore, so they can't get the Crown Vics, so they're keeping them. It used to be 5 years or 150,000 miles, whichever came first. But that's not entirely true anymore. So,
Well, it's
like-
interesting. We in California, at least in Fremont, we don't have any Crown Vics anymore. They're all these big Mariah
Yeah.
SUVs.
California retired the last Crown Vic they had last year.
Bummer.
They had an LA County had the last Crown Vic for California.
Really?
Yeah, and it retired last year. But Butler County still has some Crown Vics. Hamilton still has some Crown Vics. They don't have many of them, but they still have them.
Butler County will just seize some when they need some more.
Well, yeah. The last year that the Crown Vic was made was 2011. So they are well past their 5-year,
Oh, yeah.
well past their 5-year limit on that. They just love those cars. I read somewhere that some departments were trying to buy cars that they had previously sold back because they need cars.
So when they can't get Crown Vic, what are they buying?
It's usually the Ford, what they call it, the Ford Interceptor utility. It's basically an Explorer.
Oh, okay.
An upgraded Explorer. It's a better Explorer.
So is that a sedan or what is it?
The Ford Explorer is an
SUV.
SUV.
Okay, well, that's what they're using in Fremont in California. We use only SUVs now.
Yeah. My understanding is cops really don't like those, but that's what they can get.
One of the best wrecks I ever saw from the perspective of being a spectator. A boss of mine had a white Crown or a white Explorer, and he's going south down I-71. He had just gone underneath the bridge at Montgomery Road, and a car that was speeding didn't make it around the corner went airborne. They were coming off of Montgomery Road to try to get on to South 71, didn't make it, went airborne, and they landed as they hit his car. He got messed up, his Explorer was totaled, the other guy, I mean, nobody died, luckily, but he's just driving along and all of a sudden
A
a
car
car comes out of the air and hits him.
is in my windshield.
His
Yeah.
name was Tracy, and Tracy had the absolute worst luck of anybody I ever knew driving.
The,
He went through like 2 cars a year, every year.
the Ford utility, the Ford Interceptor utility is, from what I understand, it is a much better Explorer than the Explorer was. Bigger
So,
brakes,
Bigger alternator.
more horsepower. Actually, it's got a little bit less horsepower than the Explorer, but they make up for it by giving it a turbo or something.
Oh, okay.
It's a much better. It's got bigger brakes, better stopping distance, a whole bunch of upgrades that the cops want, but they don't really like that car. They don't really like the SUVs.
Yeah, okay. Must not have as comfortable a seat.
The sedans are a little bit easier to carry people around in, where the SUVs are more easy to carry equipment.
Yeah.
So to carry a prisoner, it's a little bit more of a pain in the butt. At least that's my understanding.
Yeah. Kind of surprised they don't put them all the way in the back, put up a dog gate.
The Ford Explorer apparently could have 3 rows of seats, and the utility only has 2 rows of seats. They made it so they could haul more stuff, but less room for people.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I wonder if they put that second row of seats back further, so there's more leg room and room for a wall.
I think it's, you know,
Then they'd need 2 walls, one behind the seat and one in front of it.
but if you think about it, in a sedan, you usually step down to get in.
Mhm.
In a SUV, you step up. So sticking a drunk in something that you have to step up may not be the funnest thing.
Put the top half on the seat, lift his legs.
Yeah, you know, I can see why they may not like it. Of course, to carry dogs around and stuff, I mean, it would be good to do that. Carry a bunch of equipment. I understand why the fire department likes them, because they can carry a ton of equipment in that stuff. But the cops don't really like them.
Anybody else have any toys? Toys? Vicente, toys?
No?
I got one you might want.
Yeah,
Show them.
you need this, Vicente.
What's that?
That is 24 core blade processor from a Sun computer.
The Sunfire V990.
You need that.
Even though you don't know you need it.
Yeah. All I know is Patty would kick my butt if I brought that home.
It's about 6 pounds of the color of purple.
It's equivalent to what?
Like a great boat anchor.
Yeah.
That's 24 core. Come on, you guys gotta find a way to use that, right?
I got well, they're keyboards too, which are the old style.
You need a full room of hardware to make it work.
Do what?
You need a full room of hardware to make it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Uh,
That was a 4U box that was almost 4 feet deep. So it was big.
Wow.
Well, here's something that you will not need a whole room of hardware to operate. Anybody know what that is?
I do.
Besides Steve, yeah, Steve knew.
Looks like a nightlight.
Yeah, it looks like,
Yeah, I got them for like less than $2 a piece, 6 for $12.
this is a warm light, warm white.
It's white and it's not terrible. It's okay.
I,
But
I,
it
u-
does-
I use those in my house.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got them in my house too.
Let me look for one.
I just plugged a light in my bathroom. My mom gave it to me. It uses one of the old 7-watt Christmas tree bulbs, but it's got a diode in it, so it's only 3.5 watts. And it's a one of the old bubbler lights. It's got a methyl chloride tube on top of it. It just boils, and the bottom of it is red, so it's a nice pink.
But you're usually gonna have to pay $4 or $5 for this. And these, I got $10.29 for six of them. That's out of eBay. And they're not bad. They will give you enough light. Gail's got one in her bath now. She says she likes it. She gets
I
it.
like them.
I am amazed at how many lights there are in my apartment. I don't need a night light anywhere.
But this one has a photo eye too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
during the day. it
you got
shuts
the
off.
same thing, Vicente?
I have like 20.
And our too.
Did you pay less than $2 is the question.
I can check.
Oh, he probably got it at the swap shop thing.
Orders. Nightlight.
They got them on Amazon for 6-pack for $6.49.
I bought 6 3 times.
Is that free shipping?
Yeah. Well, Amazon is.
There's
This,
one.
The basic light is $6.40 and the dimmable lights are $7.99.
Oh, okay.
6 for $12.99.
And free shipping.
Free shipping, yeah. Amazon.
Prime members? That doesn't
Yeah,
go-
Prime, yes.
Yeah. So you're paying $9 a month so you can get it free shipping. Okay, gotcha.
If you order a bunch of stuff, I guess it makes sense. I don't order enough stuff from Amazon to make sense.
I'm getting into AliExpress, trying those guys out. On some things, they seem to be cheaper than eBay.
The biggest thing about AliExpress, at least I haven't ordered in probably a year from anything, but the biggest thing was they didn't charge the tax, I don't think.
No,
Ooh.
when I was a kid and water clear red LEDs dropped below $1 each, my dad ordered about $35 worth of them. And we put them in the crown molding all around the.
Hello, I'm Troy.
Oh, a beautiful dog.
Troy.
We had a battery charger in the basement with a car battery on it. And when the power went out, it would trip a relay that would turn on all those LEDs. It's kind of cool. Nice automatic lights out system. We never did find out how long it would go because the power always came back on before the battery was dead. And sometimes that was 2 or 3 days later.
Yeah, that if you're not an Amazon Prime member, they're going to charge you shipping.
Yeah,
Unless you spend $25.
Maybe you pay the shipping anyway, but in different way.
Yeah, and yeah.
My dog came to ask for peanuts.
Oh, yeah.
I have them under my desk. So,
In case of emergency, we know.
yeah, he used to come asking for them.
Uh,
So he doesn't have a peanut allergy, obviously.
Huh?
He does not have a peanut allergy,
No, no,
obviously.
no, it's okay for the dogs, the peanut. They love the peanut butter, you know?
Really?
Yeah, every time you go to a veterinarian, they give peanut butter to the dogs to keep them steady.
Medicines and stuff.
Yeah, no, they used to use a little bit of peanut butter and touch the furniture in the place, and the dog start to lick, yeah, and stay steady there while they're examining them. So it's okay for the dogs, the peanut and the peanut butter.
As long as it doesn't have the xylitol sweetener.
This one is on salt, and no salt, no additives, just plain
Who wants
dry
their peanut?
roasted.
Are those the dry roasted ones?
Yes, but without salt, you know.
Yeah.
Talk about some unusual things, don't we?
I never tried those. Let me check.
Actually, I prefer the ones without the salt. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Gotta have salt, lots of salt.
Yeah. I think the best snack food ever is salt and vinegar potato chips. Mm.
I would agree that it's at least potato chips.
Have you
Extra
ever had salt and vinegar chips?
I have, they're delicious.
Yeah. Don't get the Pringles because those aren't so good, but Lay's salt and vinegar chips are just astounding. I was eating those.
It always reminds me of fish.
If you go to Britain, they put that vinegar on their French fries, the chip, what they call chips.
Yeah.
And
That may not be so bad.
Give it a try sometime.
Oh, and you have, Leroy knows this. Wendy's has a breakfast $1 sandwich. You haven't tried that? It's temporary.
With sausage, egg, and cheese croissant. I
They do
think.
sausage, egg, and cheese for $1, or you can do sausage, I mean, you can do biscuit, bacon, and egg,
Mhm.
or sausage, egg, and biscuit. Either one or $1.
Yeah.
Temporary, limited time.
The sausage, I think, is the better deal, even though it's questionable meat. Bacon is so thin at every restaurant. It's hardly there.
Oh, this is pretty decent. It really is.
Yeah.
And the sausage is good too, which surprised me. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. Like, yeah.
When I was working at Risingfeld, there was one in the next parking lot over, so if I was more than 5 minutes early, I'd go through the drive-through, get one.
They're good. Those buck sandwiches, breakfast sandwiches from Wendy are good. They're good.
for $1, they're, you can't beat it.
For
Yeah.
$1, they're really good.
Well,
Yeah.
the meal, the morning breakfast meal is, for the number 5 combo, is $5.19, and it was worth it.
At Wendy's.
Yeah,
I've never had their coffee. How good is their coffee?
it's not bad. It depends on what kind of coffee you like.
I'm like you. I like the German roast from Aldi, and I mix it with grinded French vanilla Starbucks that I get on sale at Costco.
I don't
So I
know.
blend them
But
and I percolate them. I don't use a drip coffee maker. I percolate.
Oh, wow.
The percolator makes a better brew. It just is a better brew.
No, it doesn't, but okay.
You don't think so?
No,
No.
I like the percolator best. It's like the coffee my grandma used to drink.
That
You know,
is
my
true.
mother
Yeah,
always
yeah,
made
exactly.
percolated coffee and it was ghastly.
I,
If
I
you
I
like-
guess I'm a throwback
Smells like
coffee
it's burnt.
guy.
Okay, if you like percolated coffee, then try Burger King's coffee. They're using
It's pretty
Seattle's
good.
finest, and it's thoroughly burned.
Yeah.
Well, mine has a,
Percolated Coffee smell, it just smells like it's burnt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That McDonald's cake cup stuff is delicious to me. It's among the best.
I don't eat a whole lot of breakfast food. I'm never up in time to actually go somewhere and get breakfast.
Well,
This percolator is a-
breakfast all
this
day.
percolator is a newfangled percolator. It's got a temperature gauge in it. It keeps it warm after it's done perking, but it doesn't burn the bean.
I don't know.
I'm a big
It makes
fan of
great,
pork
it makes great coffee in my opinion, but
I don't drink coffee. I just smell it and it smells burnt when it comes from a percolator.
Eh, There's one coffee that I really like. It's a mild German roast from Aldi's.
I like the robust. I get the red label.
Oh, okay.
You get the blue label, I get the red.
Yep.
It's good and it's cheap.
Was that the alarm that says we have to shut stuff off?
Yeah, that's the 5-minute warning.
Yeah, we got
That was
1
5
minute.
minutes ago.
It's 6:44. Yeah, it's time to
But
go.
that's the pre 5-minute alarm. It's
Yeah.
got two.
Bye,
He's got-
everybody.
Glad you dropped by.
We'll
Take
see you
care.
next week.
Maybe
See
we'll
you
have
next
to
week.
See you next
Go
week.
to next week too.
Bye.
Bye.